Hello to all you EDM fans, and thank you for joining me in this adventure. This is a new series of videos that define elements that may be related to one or many genres of EDM, seem to be or were viral and popular and used in many tracks. I call those EDM memes, or EDMMs for short, as similarly to internet memes, those were and are elements that producers copied from each other, creating variations that ultimately created genres of EDM. I have created this series for the many young and aspiring producers would like to understand what are those elements that define previous or current popular genres in the EDM world. You will find that defining those EDMMs will be much more productive and positive than trying to define styles or genres. There are two reasons for this. 1. Unfortunately, genres are defined randomly by groups, towns, countries, DJs, websites, or even record companies releasing compilations. There is no body whose power is to define them, which causes a lot of confusion. A good example would be the use or misuse of the word techno. As someone who entered the world of EDM in 1990, for me techno was always the European flavor defined by certain EDMMs that I would define later. I believe that people growing up in Detroit in the 80s would define it quite differently, and people in Germany in later years would look at it totally different as well. When someone tells me he likes techno, I never understand quite what he means. Another example would be hardcore, meaning one thing in the UK, and also changing over the years there, and a completely different thing in Europe. 2. Sticking to a genre, especially the well-defined ones, limits one's creativity immensely. Genres are often very restrictive. It is much better to break them down and use the building blocks to create original music and without the need to immediately define sub-genres for each popular variation. The EDMMs will be divided into three groups: rhythmical, musical, and timbral. Rhythmical include beats, rhythmic patterns and the like. For example, the breakbeat, the transgate, etc., popular melodies, etc. Timbral will have to do with sounds. Examples would be the piano sound, the supersaw, and many more examples. Of course, some EDMMs will be connected to more than one group. Also, in some EDMMs I will also define an extra level of precision for special cases in each. For example, when we talk about breakbeats, a special case will be the Amen break, which will get its own EDMM definition. Or for example, when we talk about the sound of resonant filters, a special case EDMM will be dedicated to the TB303 resonant filter sound. I feel that my strength is mostly in 90s EDMMs, many of which are still used in genres popular today. I would like to add EDMMs from later years and recent styles. For example, dubstep is another genre that changed quite a bit over the last 15 years, and I do listen to it but not in the same passion. The wobble sound, the dub rhythm and so on will be included, but I would love to get examples from you guys. If there are EDMMs that you think I should add, or that you have examples of, put a comment with at least 10 relatively popular tracks that show the use of it, and I will create an EDMM for those.